What's going on, everyone? Talon here, and welcome to another uniform review video. Alright, so we still have another one of these uniforms to go over, and that's going to be Hela's uniform. So, here we have Hela's Ragnarok uniform, so let's go ahead and see what this does for her. So her uniform bonus applies to all allies, decreased damage received by superhero types by 15%, increased damage dealt to superhero types by 15%. So it's pretty much the same as Yellow Jacket's uniform. It is pretty nice because there are a lot of superhero types that you will be fighting in Shadowland. And of course now with Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver's World Boss mode, it can also be used there as well. But let's take a look at the uniform here. It actually looks pretty cool. I do like the new look for Hela. I just love the greens. But also green is actually my favorite color, so that might be why I really like the uniform's coloring there. But anyway, as you can see, Hela's uniform is actually the normal price of the uniforms. It's 750 crystals, so she did not get the premium treatment like the other three uniforms, which is fine for me because I don't need to be spending even more crystals. But the uniform does seem pretty nice despite the lower crystal price that may have you believe or think that it's going to be a really like a dud of a uniform, but so far I've kind of enjoyed the uniform from what I've seen so far in skill preview. So first of all, it changes around 4 skills. So here we have bleed applied to that skill. Her first skill, I believe that is the Blade of Hell. And then we have here is the exact same thing. You have the all resistances down by 40%, all attack reduced by 15, and all defense reduced by 20%. So that's all the same. Here, this has actually changed because I believe this is the 4th skill. So now you get 3 seconds of invincible, whereas before it was there was no invincible, and this was the skill that did the debuff kind of duration and debuff strength reduction, or the buff strength, however you want to look at it. So it reduces the enemy's buffs, strength, and duration. It was by like 50% and 40%, or 50% and 50%, maybe it was. But either way, you're not getting that anymore with the new uniform here, which is, it's kind of annoying. I would have liked if they kept those effects on and also gave the invincible, but maybe that was just a little too much. And then we go down to her 5th skill here, which is still pretty much exactly the same because I believe it had blind before anyway. So let's go ahead and take a look at the skill changes here, or how they animate, I should say. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at her first skill. So the first skill, I really like the changes to because it is now an iframe, which is awesome. And look at that jump back. She can create a lot of distance between her and the enemy. So this is a nice skill to get out of harm's way, avoid damage. If you see like a big attack coming, to just put some distance between you. So I really like the change to this first skill. Alright, so now let's go ahead and look at the second skill here. So second skill looks pretty cool. You're going to, of course, be vulnerable while you're using the skill, but it looks a little more flashy than the previous second skill, so that's nice. I do like that it has a lot of dot damage and just AoE. It looks like it groups the enemies together for you, so this would be really nice in Shadowland when you're fighting more than one enemy. You can just kind of group them together, make them a little easier to deal with. And then the third skill is exactly the same, so that one has not changed. You still get the summons, you still have the same iframe right there when you're teleporting up, and then the iframe disappears for a second, and then you get it back. So there is a slight brief moment where you're vulnerable right there, and you do notice that if you're fighting Thanos, because sometimes he just punches you out of the skill, which is quite annoying. But anyway, now let's go ahead and look at the third skill once these summons disappear. Or the third skill, I mean the 4th skill. Here we go. Alright. A little bit of, let's do that again. Alright, so here we go. The 4th skill definitely looking really cool. It wasn't quite as many daggers or anything like that flying around with the previous 4th skill. She kind of just did one blast. So this is a really cool looking skill. And of course, as you can see, the invincible only lasts for the duration of the skill itself. You don't have any extra time, so as you can see right here, 3, 2, 1, and it ends pretty much right when she hits the ground. So like right there, you are going to be vulnerable to damage again, so it is something to take into account, but it is nice that you can get some guaranteed damage in here as well, because I always remember I used to die while casting the fourth skill if I tried to use it in my rotation and that kind of thing. So it's just a little more added survivability to Hela that she really needed. And now let's go ahead and look at the fifth skill. So fifth skill is pretty much the same, just with a little extra added to the animation. So as you can see, you get those extra chains that kind of come down and bind the enemies, whereas before you didn't really have that, and it was just that kind of single blast that she did right there. And of course it is an iframe. It was before also an iframe, but it didn't really feel like it because I felt like I was getting hit all the time while using her fifth skill before, but I looked at her even without the uniform, and it still said it was an iframe, unless they changed that with this update just now to her base model as well. I really don't remember her fifth skill being an iframe, because I used to always get punished while using the fifth skill. But either way, it is now, and I don't know, I really like it. So far, that's all of the changes, but so all of the changes to Hela, I do enjoy, I do like the changes, so I think they really help Hela in terms of survivability especially, which she really needed that extra survivability, and it looks like she's going to have a bit more AoE, and also she's going to have a lot more damage because it looks like we have a lot more multi-hits going on here, and of course because this is her first uniform, you will get that extra bonus from the uniform itself. So overall, I do like Hela's uniform as well. So out of all four of these uniforms that got put in with the Ragnarok update, I actually like all of the uniforms, and I think they're all actually decent uniforms. There's not really any duds this time around, so I'm very happy about that. And of course, I'm going to be picking up Hela's uniform as well, so I will be buying all four of these uniforms, and I do think that they all give enough change to the character that they are worth the investment if you like the character, if you play the character, of course, because if they're just a character they don't really use anyway, then yeah, you're not really going to see the uniform in action much, are you? But yeah, so that's going to be Hela's uniform. It is a good buy, especially if you've invested in Hela, because it does look like it's going to give her a lot more survivability and just make her a viable character, because as she was without the uniform, she just was only useful for her leadership, but now I think she should be able to take on some Shadowlands floors on her own. She can clear world boss pretty easily with this uniform, I would guess, because I did try her out actually just after the update without the uniform to see if that fifth skill really did change, and I had a lot easier time than I remember beating the world boss than before, because that iframe on the fifth skill was keeping me alive the whole time. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. If anyone remembers before the update if that was an iframe or not, put it down in the comments below, because I feel like I'm going crazy because I always felt like she was just such a squishy character and die instantly no matter what skill I used. But now she's looking a lot stronger, and I would definitely recommend this uniform if you use Hela. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope it helped in deciding if you're going to pick up this uniform for yourself. And I will, of course, catch you in the next one.